Mr. Main, Premier Nunavut. Congratulations, Mr. Main.
That is the moment we found out the name of the 7th Premier of Nunavut, John Main. Main is the first non-Inuk to be chosen as the territory's Premier. He was competing for the role against David Akiaguk. Main has been an MLA since 2017 for Arvit North Whale Cove. He served as minister in several portfolios, including health. Thanks for joining us. I'm Megan Roberts. John Main promised more revenue and jobs for Nunavut when he answered questions from MLAs during the territory's leadership forum. Main and David Akiaguk spent about 4 hours responding to their colleagues ahead of the vote for Premier. And in his first remarks as Premier-elect, Main thanked everyone, including his opponent. Here he is in Inuktitut.
A cold like lunga pillar ni lunga punga atau hiu ti cicar lunga lu lipin ilukta mat na chama ma pillar katigin na uk to katigilo ga Mr. Akau mat na su pillar katigi kata kemasulu ayung ni tu go wito upigi bagit mat na chama tunga tema mat na kibota.
That is Nunavut Premier-elect John Main in Inuktitut. Now here he is in English after the vote, explaining that setting the government's priorities will be a team effort.
Well, my priorities in terms of my constituency, they're the ones that I got elected on, were around housing, economic development, healthcare, education. As a legislature, as a government, we have to develop our priorities together. Through developing our mandate. There's no shortage of issues that need addressing in terms of which ones are going to be at the top of the list. That's a group exercise that we will be going through.
Now, earlier in the day, the MLA for South Baffin was elected as the House Speaker. David Johannesy has served as a cabinet minister in the last 2 assemblies. He takes over from Tony Akwak of Johaven as the Speaker. Johannesy says he's bringing 12 years of experience in government to the role.
So I'll be making sure that the proceedings are going as smoothly as can be and supporting all members in their roles, that they try to have an effective job in their new roles. Some are, of course, are returning, and they have a lot to bring to the table as well.
Johannesy was acclaimed as MLA for South Baffin when no one ran against him. He's been the riding's MLA since 2013. The Premier-elect and chosen ministers will officially be sworn into their new roles at a ceremony on Thursday afternoon. Prime Minister Mark Carney's minority Liberal government has passed another confidence vote. MPs voted on a key motion today in the House of Commons. David Thurton has the latest from Ottawa.
Another busy day in Ottawa with a visit from Sweden's monarch.
It is such an honor to welcome you, Your Majesties.
Plus, more budget deliberation.
There are more votes, of course, to come through the budget process.
As Mark Carney suggested there, his minority Liberal government is not out of the woods. The budget passed last night by a razor-thin margin, thanks to a handful of Conservative and NDP MPs abstaining. But more confidence votes are on the way, as the Prime Minister heads on a foreign trip to the United Arab Emirates.
What do you hope to accomplish at the UAE?
Well, I had to change my schedule, actually.
His finance minister was supposed to join him. Instead, he's staying behind to get the budget through the House of Commons.
Mr. Speaker, what they did yesterday under this leader, they voted against investment in infrastructure. Under this leader, they voted against investment in housing.
Mr. Speaker, I don't think anybody's been able to cram that many slogans into one answer, and this is coming from me.
Conservatives maintain their opposition.
Well, it's not a good budget, so not a good outcome at all for Canada.
What's worse, that budget or an election?
Well, I'll leave each one of you to decide that.
The possibility that the government could fall keeps Liberals on their toes.
I have very good advice for everyone. If you want to be comfortable, don't enter federal politics.
Liberals face votes related to the implementation of their budget, but opposition parties have already signaled they're willing to let enough MPs sit it out to avoid an election. David Thornton, CBC News, Ottawa.
That budget includes creating a corridor to explore economic development in northwestern BC and the Yukon. The Yukon-BC grid connection was mentioned by the Major Projects Office last week, but Ottawa hasn't earmarked any money for it just yet. Still, the Yukon's MP says the referral is nothing to scoff at.
It's under its 2-year feasibility assessment right now, so that's going on. But this is also making sure that we have the support through the major projects to help navigate through the next steps. And some of that, obviously some of that is permitting and all of that eventually, but it's also securing the financing that will be necessary for that project.
The project proposes connecting the Yukon's electrical grid to the larger North American grid through British Columbia. It's estimated the project could cost roughly $4 billion. A Kinngait man has been sentenced in connection with the assault of a woman in the community in 2021. Brothers Laimaki and Archie Tunu were both convicted of aggravated assault in relation to an incident that happened 4 years ago, which hospitalized one woman with serious injuries. Laimaki Tunu was also convicted of attempted murder. Today, an Iqaluit judge sentenced Archie Tunu to 2 years of probation with conditions, including no contact with the victim. The judge said Archie Tunu has already served 3 years in relation to this crime. Sentencing for Laimaki Tunu was delayed until December 1st. Police are still investigating after a man walked into a day shelter in Yellowknife with a loaded pistol. RCMP say a man brought a pistol into the shelter on 49th Street downtown last Wednesday. They managed to take him into custody without incident. Dirk Singerling now faces a long list of charges. At the time of this arrest, Singerling was already subject to a lifetime firearms ban. How he got a pistol is still unclear. Police also found an extended capacity magazine with his belongings. No word yet on when Singerling will next appear in court. A much-needed transitional housing facility is scheduled to open next month in Yellowknife. The housing units are next to the Folk on the Rock site out on Highway 3 past the airport. The Yellowknife Women's Society got the contract to operate the facility. The society will also need to provide transportation for residents to get to and from the site, which is not within walking distance of downtown. The modular units have room for 24 people, with private bedrooms and a shared kitchen and dining area, as well as recreation and office space. 2 new emergency cabins in Sunnyvayak, Nunavut are giving vulnerable residents a safe place to stay. The hamlet used the Ikugra Cabin Fund to build 2 units, one for a homeless family with 3 children and one for an elder recently diagnosed with cancer. Their old shelters were unsafe and too far outside town, making emergency access difficult. Both the family and elder moved into the cabins earlier this month.
We had no housing development in the last easily 15 years, and we have people living 15 in a house, people living in a shack, families sharing rooms for a house. We know it's just going to be helping a little bit for a little while, but we have to step up.
This year, Nunavut's government announced $1 million in federal funding for hamlets and other organizations to build cabins. For now, the cabins are a temporary fix while long-term housing plans move forward. In Fort McPherson, NWT, cabins along the Peel River provide a place to stay warm and practice tradition. On Monday, we introduced you to some of the people who help run the fish camp at Happy's Landing. We met with them when we traveled to Fort McPherson this fall. Tonight, we'll take you on a tour of the fish camp and learn how the fish are processed.
This is where our boats land, so we could just bring our fish up here. Right now, we haven't fished for 2 weeks. But we are going to start. The fisherman is just taking a language program right now, and then he's going to start fishing for us. So we're not done fishing. So when the fishermen come up, they bring their fish up. I have workers here that I give full credit to, because fish camp wouldn't be what it is without the hard workers here. Okay?
Yeah.
When we bring our fish, this is where we start. As you can see, this is the moose that we shot, so we put it out for the birds to clean it.
So cool.
Yeah, so this is our fishing table. We have other tables around. We just put them away right now. This is where we start processing the fish. I recently got this built. And this is where the fish is then hung in here to get the wind and the natural heat, plus it'll be smoked. And I have 2 fish houses here. That is the final processing stage. Right now we clean the poles because we're going to use it for moose meat now. We got a moose meat donated to us, so we're just waiting for that to come. And I also put information up here for tourists, instead of saving myself from repeating every time. These are the main fish that we work with in the summertime. This is the coney. It's called Inkingu to some, but we call it coney. This is where we get the fish sticks from. This is dry fish, white fish, we get the dry fish. And this one too, we could get dry fish, but we prefer to make fish sticks. This is burbot, we call it losh. This is what we're waiting for. We want to get that so we can make the delicacy with the losh liver. And this white fish is going to start running with white eggs. And we eat that, call it ice cream. And you just eat it like that. Yeah. And then we take the fish and use it for fish patties or something else. So like I said, we're always using our fish. Don't mind the little messing here, but this is our fish houses, how we hang everything up here. Once they're dried, we take them out there and we cut them into pieces and we bag them, ready for distribution. So because of the cold weather, we had to put a wood stove in here. We had to put a wood stove in here to not only smoke the remainder of the fish, the final process, but this to heat it up because we need heat to dry it and smoke it. So once we start up fishing again, we'll start that process over again. We have fish cooking here all the time for visitors, no matter who come. What we have anything to do with fish, we cook it on here. We could have 20 people to 50 people here at a time, and everybody will eat. We don't turn nobody away. We give back everything we got, whatever we harvest, and our workers are the ones that do it. We have a lot of people who played parts in here in fish camp, so it's not only me, and it's everybody. And fish camp is successful because of the workers, and I really acknowledge them. It's like a healing grounds. These grounds are healing grounds for our people. Many of us are on a healing journey of our own, and this place is what keeps me grounded. And all our healing depends on the good Lord. In our language, Kagwadat. Every day we give thanks to Kagwadat for the blessings. And the blessings that he offers us, we give it back to the people. We have people from all walks of life coming and going from fish camp, from tourists to paddlers to community members to visitors from other regions. They come down here and they just enjoy themselves and eat what they want and drink tea and enjoy fish camp. So we have a lot of people, a lot of funding agencies and organizations that utilize fish camp. We want to continue to keep our doors open for our people.
Dining out at a fast food restaurant used to be cheap, but budget-friendly staples like burgers and fries aren't so friendly anymore. The CBC's Jenna Benchetrit looks at what caused the cost increase and how restaurant chains are responding.
Fast food is getting too expensive.
It's really the price that has stopped me.
You're spending $15 at least if you want to get a proper full meal, and that's just not sustainable.
That spells trouble for big chains like Chipotle, which is having a harder time getting Gen Z through the door. The brand hasn't sold as much as it was expecting to this year.
What we've noticed is a category slowdown for the 25 to 34-year-olds that are under the most financial pressure.
And Chipotle isn't the only chain noticing a pullback. McDonald's recently said it isn't expecting as many sales from low-income diners next year. So how did fast food go from budget-friendly to overly expensive?
We are seeing higher labor costs, higher food costs, and therefore the average eater check when you go out is higher than it has been in years past.
The price of ground beef, for example, has skyrocketed. 1 kilogram now costs more than $14. 5 years ago, that number was closer to $9. So a lot of these chains are trying to win back cost-conscious consumers with promotions. Burger King says it's seeing more traffic from meal deals like this one.
Burger King has a deal for all.
And a recent survey shows that Gen Z says promotions are a major consideration when they're choosing a restaurant.
We know that younger people, they're looking for value meals. So this is one strategy that a lot of restaurants are using to remain competitive.
The thing is, a good meal deal at one particular restaurant won't necessarily keep a customer coming back.
And they may not be brand loyal, so they'll switch to different brands based on the value offerings.
They might also just be snacking more. You know, girl dinner.
That's a perfect bite.
Young people in particular are telling us that they're replacing traditional meals with snacks, and that could speak to cost concerns or maybe just how fast-paced their lives are.
Chipotle says its biggest competitor for young adults isn't another restaurant. It's the grocery store.
I shouldn't be spending this much money on food, so sometimes I make something at home and eat it here.
I try to cook more now. I'm a very bad chef, but I still try.
The fight is really going to be around this Gen Z and this alpha consumer in getting their share of spend over the next couple of years.
Jenna Benchetrit, CBC News, Toronto.
There could be another reason to skip those takeout meals: colorectal cancer. For years, scientists have been trying to find out why an increasing number of young adults are getting it. Now, new research is pointing to a possible culprit: ultra-processed foods. Lauren Pelly has those details.
It's fast, it's easy, but ultra-processed food might be a major health threat. A new study published Thursday in a major cancer journal looked at 30,000 women over 2 decades. It found a link between eating a high level of ultra-processed foods and developing colorectal polyps.
And these are the kinds of polyps that we believe are the main precursor lesion to the vast majority of early onset colorectal cancers. And these are the kinds.
The lead researcher says the finding offers a key clue to what's behind an alarming trend: the rise in young adults developing colorectal cancer.
We did expect that there might be some associations here, given that we are also seeing dramatic increases in our consumption of ultra-processed food.
It's a big category of foods that are both highly processed and full of preservatives, items like mass-produced bread, many breakfast cereals, or instant soup.
So ultra-processed food is sort of that ready-to-eat, ready-to-heat type food.
This Toronto oncologist praised the new study and said these products have long been known as less healthy options.
They don't contain a lot of fiber. They have sort of the bad types of fats in them.
Still, this new finding isn't clear cause and effect. More research is needed to see where ultra-processed foods fit alongside other well-known cancer risk factors, like obesity and a lack of physical activity. Joshua Kluskovic hopes scientists figure it out. The 34-year-old doesn't know what caused his stage 4 colon cancer, which has spread to his liver, lungs, and bones.
You're trying to stay as positive as you can, just hoping for a miracle to happen.
After years of trying to lead a healthy lifestyle, he still has more questions than answers.
You think, what else could I have done? Why am I now getting this diagnosis?
Doctors and dietitians say one thing is clear: avoid ultra-processed foods as much as you can, and when possible, choose whole, fresh foods instead. Lauren Pelly, CBC News, Toronto.
A sad discovery on a Prince Edward Island shore is now the center of scientific research. The CBC's Laura Meter looks at what researchers are hoping to learn from a great white shark.
The great white shark was first seen alive by people, but the next day it was found dead on a sandbar in the Tracadie area. It was a huge animal, 4 meters long and a bit more than 2,000 pounds.
The shark was phenomenal. It was, any animal that size that you don't regularly get to see is just, more than impressive. So, it's my first time seeing a great white in person. So that was clearly a remarkable day there.
This wildlife vet worked with a group to get it out of the water and bring it to the Atlantic Veterinary College to be analyzed.
He had just had a very large meal of gray seal and harbor porpoise, so he was eating and doing quite well right up until he died.
This pathologist says it will take a while to look at tissues to figure out what caused the shark to die. There was no evidence of trauma or it being entangled.
You want to make sure, especially if it's an endangered species, like we consider the white shark to be in Canada, you want to make sure that there aren't any new threats, emerging threats, or potentially human-caused issues that are putting pressure on that species.
Although some people might find the pictures scary, researchers say these sharks have been in PEI waters for years and their numbers are improving.
Sightings are increasing, and they have been increasing, and that's because these sharks great whites are visiting our waters of Atlantic Canada more frequently than they had historically. It's kind of special. Not many places in the world can say they have great whites swimming around.
The shark was hauled to the vet college in an open trailer on Halloween. Vets say some people likely thought it was a weird decoration.
Yeah, we did not have a tarp big enough to put over it, so we basically hauled a giant shark on the back of a flatbed trailer essentially through downtown Charlottetown. You don't see that every day.
Researchers say getting to see this shark and investigate its death is a unique experience. They hope to have more answers in the months to come. Laura Meter, CBC News, Charlottetown.
A team of British scientists has dug up a fin whale skull 5 years after it was buried in southwestern England. The 20-meter fin whale died in 2020 after it was stranded on a beach. Researchers decided to bury the carcass as that's the most natural way of cleaning the bones. Excavators used special equipment, including an industrial vacuum machine, to get it out of its 2-meter hole. The research team plans to display the whale head as a memorial in a local community. And that is Northbeat for tonight. For news anytime, go to cbc.ca/north. Thank you for watching. I'm Megan Roberts. Have a good night.